I'm Asia and Spanning Gateway, and this is going to be a two-part video because this goes deep. And for this first video, I need to set the stage for what I'm about to say. It's good to use that metaphor, setting the stage, because it's very important, because not only do we set stages in actual plays or whatever, but we set stages for many different situations, for events or things that we're trying to explain, when we're given a backstory or when we are trying to give an imagery of what we're trying to display. So it's important to set the stage because this goes deep, and in order to really get an understanding, we need to get a sense of the environment. So I'm going to be diving deep in the relationship, the spiritual relationship between the words doc, doctor, doctrine, and indoctrination, because it's good to know the relationship, because the relationship also signifies the spiritual aspect, because you don't necessarily see the relationship unless you are paying attention to those aspects of the relationship and what a relationship is. So this is about foundational knowledge, because we're going to use the foundation of these words in order to identify how they are being used, right? Because if anything, any word can be used any different type of way, just depending on how you want to see it, especially if it's a noun, because a noun is a person, place, or thing. So people have a limited perspective on these things because they are only taught to see things one way or a couple of ways, and that's not really the nature of the universe that we live in, because the universe is the infinite possibilities. So it would be ridiculous to think that something would just happen exactly one way. That's why the equal sign is very the equal sign is questionable, because I don't know if I could say from my perspective that anything is really necessarily equal, but that equal sign can also be an illusion as well. So it just depends on how you're able to see and perceive things. Perceive things. See water. This is going to be a big representation of what I'm about to do when it deals with water, because water also is a representation, not the representation. It is a representation of consciousness and lack thereof. So when it comes to the words dock, we obviously know that a dock deals with water, right? Because it's a structure that's in place of water, and in the place of the merging between land and water. And land is also important because we're dealing with the element of earth, and us understanding the spiritual principles behind these things will help us to be more able to identify the spiritual natures of words and what's actually happening around us that we're not necessarily perceiving because of indoctrination. So doctor, doctrine, and indoctrination, very important to understand. And we're going to get to the diagram.